Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. This is for episode 4 now. It is called What We... And then the next episode is called Become, for What We Become. And years gone by for the first few episode titles for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. So they're sort of playing with episode titles from, The Walking Dead comics, the Days Gone By, the original Walking Dead, using it for The Ones Who Live. So spoiler warning if you haven't seen the episode yet for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Another awesome episode, I thought. The middle for it might have dragged a little bit with, the Rick and Michonne back and forth. For all the relationship stuff and all that. But it did have I think, a satisfying conclusion at the end. There was lots of excitement there with the helicopter being blown up, them sort of trying to get out of this building that they find themselves in, and lots of zombies everywhere and all the good stuff that we're used to for Walking Dead. So we get the helicopter jump. Start things off with the episode. We need a timeout, which is fun. And in this episode, we do finally get to see Rick find out about RJ, which is awesome. So he's almost 8 years old. Michonne confirms for us, which sets the timeline about right. I did a timeline video for where we're at right now for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, what year we're in, and people wanted to argue it. But if she says that he's almost 8, that sets us from... you go from 2014, almost 8, and she was pregnant at that time, so you can derive around 2021, 2022, something like that. A lot of people were like, when the episode said now, Trev, that meant that they're in 2024, and based on RJ's age, we get, the video is pretty close to right, or at least within 6 months to a year of right. The events that we're seeing right now are in about 8 years from 2000, so like 2021, 2022, something like that, in terms of the time frame for what we're seeing when we see these episodes. So the different arguments that they get in and everything, really, pretty good for the most part, but definitely for me, just the highlight was finding out about RJ. Rick doesn't want to leave. He wants to go back to the CRM because he views it as the best way to keep them safe, is to be a man on the inside, I suppose. And maybe just him not wanting to give up on Okafor's mission, which Michonne points out to him that it's his mission, doesn't necessarily have to be your mission. I like the part where she tells him that RJ and Judith call him the brave man, and she calls RJ the little brave man, which is really great. Questions of, she found Rick, but did she find him? He's changed, right? He's different from, how he was before. She calls him Commando Rick at one point, which is fun. They sleep together and, kind of, escape together at the end and really movie-esque quality stuff, and then kind of drive off together. It kind of feels like, it's fun to see them in the car, like when she goes over to stick shift to drive. They're being intimate at the same time while they're doing that, and you get a scene earlier where they're together where they're also being intimate. So it's another good episode for The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. What we want to say, it's like with these spin-off series, you only get the 2 Walking Dead characters. So like when you start off with this one, getting to see Rick again is so exciting, and Michonne as well too is great. But it does feel different in terms of the dynamic from older Walking Dead episodes because, for example, in this episode, you just get that spotlight on the 2 of them. So everything is about, the 2 of them. So, in some ways, if you want to see more Rick, then you get that. You want to see more Michonne, you get that. Michonne, you get it. But you don't, have like in those type of episodes that we used to have, like they did have some Rick and Michonne episodes in the original Walking Dead series, but a lot of times you'd have some other characters from the group, Carol or Daryl or somebody else kind of play into it as well, Carl and the others. In this one here, they just kind of get like with the series, they get mentioned, right? But they're not forefront in the story, in the episodes. So the vibe is a little bit different. But than the older Walking Dead episodes from the original. But at least it's kind of what can we say? It's focused on just the two, right? And their interactions and, how they feel about each other and, kind of finding out as they go through the first season here, or at least this event season for the ones who live, whether or not they are going to be able to get away. This is a good opportunity for them right now to leave because they will be assumed to be dead at this time. So, what are they going to do here? And Rick's mission, will he give up his mission to go back and be a dad and see his son and Judith and everybody else? Or will he, stick to his mission here with Michonne, helping him out and seeing what we see? It probably depends also on how much they want to do with the character still, how many episodes they want to do and everything. And we'll see what happens in episode 5 if Michonne decides to go back with them, or they part ways, or what we see happen here in these episodes with the CRM. So you can leave your predictions below for what you think. What did you like about the episode? What were some of the lines and just getting to see them together? What parts did you like? I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was still great. I thought it was still awesome. As usual, it feels like by the time we kind of get used to seeing Rick and Michonne back, the season will be over, right? Like the first season, because you only have 2 episodes left, so there's only 2 weeks left. So it feels like as soon as we get used to Rick and Michonne being back in the Walking Dead, universe and what we're getting to see, as soon as you get used to that, now it's winding down and it's almost over, right? But that's kind of what we get for movie quality episodes. That's kind of what we get to see: helicopters, explosions, buildings collapsing, all these other awesome things that really give us that quality of Walking Dead that we've really maybe never seen, depending on how you want to look at it. So leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Another really good episode. Love to see some time with Rick and Michonne back together. It's really great. And just want them to, at least when I was watching this episode, man, I just want to see Rick decide okay, forget it. Let's just go and go back home to Alexandria with Michonne. But we'll see who wins this discussion, or whether or not Michonne decides that she's going to stay too or something, and this becomes a multi-season series or something. We'll see. I don't know. But it was another really good episode. And, of course, that was an important moment for Rick to find out that he has a son. That's the most important thing we've seen for Rick since the bridge blew up, since he left the series. That's the biggest, probably the biggest moment for Rick as a character that we've seen since he left the original series. The hand and stuff is yeah, but him to find out he has a son is that's even bigger than the hand stuff. So, leave your comments below. That's it for this one, guys. See you again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev. Saying peace later, guys. See you soon.